understand? Do you honestly understand? You can't cross what we told you. Can they compare me to you to bring to us sustenance for a lifetime? Hey, monarchy, why you my skies? Can you get the chosen ones? Don't let me take. Can you production? Hey, we out. Where I was up there. The sound is shaking my brain. It's fiber on the beat.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Mr. Sikaile, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How's everything going?
No, we are trying, we are pushing. So far, so good. And we just hope even our people, our followers, they are all doing fine. We send the greetings to each and everyone. As you know that in this time where we are, there's a lot of changes that takes place every day due to COVID issues and stuff like that. So it's like we live unpredicted days. A day to day can be this way, then tomorrow something changes, something comes up, and so on and so forth. But so far so good. I would just say that so far so good. And apart from that, we are going to discuss a number of issues that pertains to our country as we prepare for the elections. I think that's where a lot of things that seem to be not going well that comes in from. But as just for the sake of life, we are good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So, guys, we are here. We'll be here every day, either on Matomola page or on my page on Sikaile. We'll be here every day giving you updates on the elections. There's a lot of developing stories. And today, I think you can just let me know what you want us to discuss because there's a lot going on. With the main issue, I think that we are dealing with as a country is the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ. I think for me, that's the main problem. And then the other issue we are seeing is the violence. We are seeing citizens wearing military uniforms and they're visiting, I don't know what they are trying to do, intimidating the people. I don't know. It's a lot going on. So what do you think? I don't know. You can lead me what you want to talk about because it's a lot.
Today, just as you have said, there's a lot of things that are coming out and that we are going to discuss the current affairs as we prepare for the elections. One of the things that probably has caught me with a keen interest a few hours ago, I was reading the headline in the news diggers about the USCM envoy commenting about, the restrictions that are being put on the oppositions regarding the campaigning. I'll take this on a quick one, and after that, I think I'm going to throw in another headlines, which there's one interesting story. I think an editorial comment for the last 2 days. The other one was the other day, and it should be yesterday from diggers as well. There's one editorial comments which caught my interest, and I would like to highlight something where the diggers, they explained how the opposition would need to do if they were to win these elections, who to deal with. And I think we are going to touch those areas. Then I'm also going to talk about the service chief engagement, direct involvement in these elections. They have turned into politicians at an expense of being non-partisan to provide leadership, especially in times like this where we do not know what happens next in the country. So we are going to talk about the chief service, this including the army commander, the ZAF commander, and the prison correctional officer, and those that we feel, because we know what they are doing, we are monitoring their daily activities. So we want to explain and we want to remind them, in case they have forgotten their national duties, that they are not supposed to be cadres, that they are supposed to be doing other serious issues, ensure that there is peace before, during, and after the elections. So then from there, we're also going to talk about we talk about arming of PF cadres. PF cadres have been, the PF have continued arming PF cadres. And at this one, I also talk about the absence of Mr. Lungu today during the peace signing. That a couple number of opposition leaders, they came together to sign about, to agree that we need peace before, during, and after these elections. So the absence of a sitting president, that, my dear, speaks a lot. That explains and that justifies what we talk about when we talk about political violence. So I'll start with the first one, where the US envoy to Zambia, they have said there is no fairness. Campaigns not fair, US embassy. Now, these elections, from the way they go, because when you are talking about general elections like the one that we are supposed to have, it's not just about the actual day on the 12th of August when we're going to vote. No, it's about the whole process, the preparations, the prep for the elections. What happens? Our key stakeholders, who happen to be the opposition participants, and the other key stakeholder that we have, the civil society organizations. How have they taken part? Are they being given a platform to also come in to air out ideas? Because these are not the PF elections, they are for the people of Zambia. Now, I agree with what the US embassy has said in News Digger, that there's no fairness. And just in the morning, I published an article where I've cited the army commander, the freedom, Dr. Chisera, the one who's in charge of prisons, and the ZAF, also the Minister of Home Affairs, the IG. These people, they have come together trying to make life hard for the opposition to campaign. ZAF has restricted the opposition, flying in the airspace. And the police have been instructed by Mr. Kampyongo and the other PF, like former ministers, the SG, and all those others, to say restrict the opposition on the road. This ZAFU is restricting the opposition in the airspace. So honestly speaking, what type of elections are we preparing? Is there fairness? The answer is no. There has never been fairness from the word go when we started preparing for these elections. One, you remember that PF and ECZ, they collaborated rather, and discarded the previous general register for the elections. Now, we were in a situation where, as a country, we have been facing a lot of challenges to do with the registration, where we have had all these years. It takes a lot of time for us to capture a good number of people into the register. That's why when you look at the current register, it's full of irregularities. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of uncoded things, and this is where we saw little kids and the foreigners being registered by PF leaders. Everything we have been exposing, we are not talking just from the books. These are things that we have brought the evidence in the public domain. Now, how they worked with the electoral register from the word go, it was a total arrogance, and which up to now, ECZ and PF, they have continued showing a total arrogance. Even just by what the president did today to miss such an important occasion when colleagues have come together to say, let us sign a peace deal here so that we campaign peacefully, we protect the people of Zambia before, during, and after the elections. That's an arrogant way of reasoning. And this is what we have been saying, that Mr. Lungu is not a humble man, but he is an arrogant dictator. Because a president, he should actually be the person in the forefront to lead the rest. The rest of the opposition leaders, they should be like his children. He has to lead by example. But he knows that he's the one who's funding this political violence. He had to stay away. Now, there's no fairness in these elections, my dear. There is no fairness. The opposition is not given a platform to express themselves. I've also seen a notice where one of the opposition members from, Copperbelt, Mr. Tayari, Frank Tayari, being summoned by the police. Now, I don't understand how PF they are operating. How do you summon someone who is here to, because I saw a video of Mr. Tayari complaining about his campaign materials, a billboard being ripped off by people like himself and his people on the copper belt. They have identified, they know them very well, that these are the people who did so. He went to the scene so that he could talk about, he could talk with the media. And the police, I saw the police trying to harass him, and now they have summoned him. We do not know what they are trying to do with him. Now, whilst I'm still on that same note, there's a video that I've just watched from one Savombo, where PF cadres, clad daylight, not in the night, they are putting on PF regalia, and well-known people, they have captured them on the videos. And even them, they have spoken, they have said that there is no one who can do anything because we are in power. There is no one who can do anything because we are in power. They were going in daylight, ripping off the campaign materials for the independent candidates, for the opposition. There is no campaign material. And these are the people who can proudly, they are committing a serious offense. They can proudly say, we can do whatever we can do because we are in power. This is how power has been abused in Zambia. This is how Mr. Rungu is abusing authority in this country. And you can tell that from personally, this is why I say that we don't have a president, and we have never had one for the last 6 to 7 years, because the conduct of Mr. Rungu is not that of a president who's looking after 18 million citizens. That's more like someone who's looking, even I can't even let him to be like a leader of an opposition political party. He's just like someone who's leading a group of gangs, a group of thugs, because his behavior is contrary to what is enshrined in the Constitution of Zambia, to someone who's holding the instrument of power. So PF cadres can do anything. I have one video, again, where, one PF cadre from the University of Zambia, he has been going around ripping off opposition political parties campaigning material there. We have the video, and that is so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate for our country that we have such a leader who has failed to demonstrate to the people. Because last time I told the country that under a normal circumstance, PF, Mr. Rungu and his PF, government, they were supposed to act as a parent to the rest of the political parties in Zambia by, one, stopping political violence. Number two, respecting the rule of law in the country. Now, you see today the opposition being pushed to an extent of defending themselves because they have seen that they have cried for a longer period of time. They have tried to be disciplined, but the people who are supposed to lead by example, they are all indisciplined, starting from President Edgar Lungu. He is an indisciplined man. He is an indisciplined person that he has brought the name of the country into shame. That today, that's why people, they can come in our country, they can say anything against the people of Zambia, because people, they know that there is no leadership. And this is what we are appealing. This is what we have been appealing from the word go, that these elections, we know that ECZ is using arrogance because they are getting orders direct from State House, from thugs, even from criminals, my dear, from criminals, characters that spends most of their time in State House, whose behavior, whose character outside in the public domain, even at international level, is questioning. Those are the people that are directing ECZ, an institution which is supposed to serve the interests of the people of Zambia, the citizens of Zambia. But I've always been very clear, and I've always stated that today, ECZ is, State House is a place for criminal activities, and not the way we used to regard the State House in all these previous years, where we know that that's a very sacred house, that is a sacred place where the man who leads the country, the man who looks after the affairs of the man or woman who should be looking after the affairs of our country is staying. Today, you go there, you are going to find a bunch of criminals that the international community have marked. And what did you expect? These are the people who are even arming PF cadres. Yesterday, I published something, PF cadres going, when they are heading to Western Province, going to terrorize the citizens there. They have been arming cadres. Why arming cadres, Mr. Rungu? Why arming cadres, Mr. Kampion? And we know, and I also want to bring this to the general public, that we are aware that people like Mr. Kampion, they are still trying by all means to control the police. And that's against the electoral code of conduct. That's against the constitution of Zambia. During this time, we don't want anyone, a former minister, masquerading, going around using public resources. But PF have continued using public resources. And after August, we are going to demand for a public inquiry of what has been going on during this time of the campaign, how public resources are being used. Because as far as we are concerned, through our intelligence, PF have continued with drawing public resources, putting into their campaigns. These are the money that you are seeing them dishing out, buying NRCs. They are using the money for the people of Zambia, taxpayers' money. And these people, they are going to be held accountable. We need this money back because it's not the money for the PF. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Skaide. It's really sad that we have to have this conversation, because Zambia is a country, is a democratic country. Zambia has been a peaceful country. Zambia has been a model of democracy in Africa, but all that has broken down. And today there is news going around that ECZ is demanding that the ballot papers have to be date stamped at the back for them to be valid. So for me, my take on this is that this is a rigging formula. Remember, we said that ECZ has pre-marked ballot papers printed. So those pre-marked ballot papers that are printed, they are going to be validated with that date stamp. So at this point, this is just my opinion. To me, what I think PF are doing is, one, they use the voters card and NRCs from minorities, which they printed, and they have printed, pre-marked ballot papers, and now they are going to stamp those pre-marked papers with this date stamp to make them valid. And these NRCs and voters cards are the one which are on the fake register with the fake polling stations and the ghost voters. So we are in a problem, guys. All I can advise Zambian people to say, power to the people. This election is about taking Zambia back. You know, we have to be strong, Zambia. This is our country. Power to the people. Let's stand up in numbers and vote. Let's be vigilant. Let's demand ECZ provide a register of all polling stations, and let us physically verify that any polling station that is on that register is existing. We must not go into this election without seeing the register and verify all the polling stations, because I've been told, I have been reliably informed that all prisons, including remand prisons, have been converted into polling stations, including the State House is also now a polling station. So, Mr. Skyle, what's your comment? I think ECZ is leading this country into doom. ECZ, they have abandoned their mission, and they are now a #1 force in helping to rig this election.
Thank you so much. I think, these are some of the issues. Like, I think should be last year, if I'm not mistaken, in one of my statements, which was in the mass newspaper, I said it, where I said, ECZ, Zambia Police under Kanganja, right now, and the judiciary, I cited them to be the first #1, so, and is together with the State House, Mr. Rungu and his colleagues, to be #1 recipe of anarchy in these elections. And thank God that today we are being vindicated. I cited them for that because their conduct, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, this time around, they have just like lost it. They are behaving like people who, I don't know how we can describe them, because what they are doing is criminal, but they are pretending that there is nothing wrong which is going on in our country. And ECZ is very much aware about all these things going on. But because ECZ, they are not operating according to the Electoral Code of Conduct, but according to the wishes of Mr. Rungu and PF, selfish, greedy individuals, people who have rooted this country, people who have stolen in this country, Zambia, people who have abused our country. Those are the people today who are giving ECZ these illegal instructions to manipulate the elections so that those people, they can continue rooting the country. They continue destroying the country. You can imagine the political virus that we have seen the last 7 years, the last 7 years of Mr. Rungu being in office. What happens next if they are to force themselves? Because they are forcing themselves against the wishes of the people of Zambia. We have said that if Mr. Rungu and PF, they come back, I'm telling you, people will be killed in their house. PF cadres will be just walking in your house. They find your TV, they find whatever you have. They'll say, no, we have this. It's ours. And there will be no one who's going to talk about it. So the Electoral Commission of Zambia, I'm calling upon the international community to look into it, to talk to the ECZ, to behave. ECZ, they should know that Zambians are the majority. And there's power in people. They were put there because of the laws of Zambia that other people respected. And they are all obliged to do the right thing for the people of Zambia, not for Edgar Lungu and PF. It's the constitution of Zambia that employed them. It's the constitution of Zambia that protects them. But they have chosen to abandon the mission and the vision of the institution just there to save a bunch of criminals. Because all what PF is doing is anarchy. They just want confusion. And it's so shameful. I'm going to come to the issue of chief service. The service chiefs that have also fallen into this trap. Already I've been talking about General William Skazo. And I thought he has listened to what the people of Zambia are talking about. We have also an issue with the Zambia, the army commander for ZAF, who's also trying to be maneuvering, is the one now that they are using to restrict the opposition to fly in the airspace. Just a few weeks ago, juniors, they wrote in the toilet, they wrote, reminding the Zambia Air Force commander that we are not going to allow what happened in 2016. I thought that message was very loud and clear to any sane old person like the Zambia Army commander, the Zambia Air Force commander. You people, you are there getting taxpayers' money. That's not PF money. It's the money that the people of Zambia are paying. And you are there to save the interests of the people of Zambia, not the interests of individuals. We know what you are doing, you people. And the people of Zambia, you should know who these people trying to cause confusion in our country are. It's a shame to see serious people in top positions of security siding with a group of oppressors, a group of terrorists, because PF personally, I read them as a terrorist organization. They have terrorized Zambia. We have seen very ugly incidents, and they have continued. PF have hacked citizens who share divergent views. PF have hacked anyone who expresses themselves to an extent of going into radio stations, banning radio stations for hosting the opposition. And there's never been leadership of any kind. from someone who's calling himself the president of Zambia. So when a country is moving in such a direction, it's so scared. This is why when we reported the PF to Amnesty International, when we reported the PF government of Mr. Edgar Lungu to the UN and other stakeholders, we cited all these things. They are there. We cited them. We said this is what they are planning to do. And you can see stage by stage. We explained that they are going to restrict the opposition to campaign. ECZ is going to be arrogant. They are not going to give opportunity to stakeholders to say a word to these elections. This is why news diggers, they said, for the opposition to win these elections, it's about dealing with ECZ, Zambia police, and the judiciary. These are the institutions that Mr. Lungu has taken and put in his pockets. He's sitting on these institutions, suffocating these institutions. These institutions today, they can't make any independent decision in line with what the Constitution of Zambia says. They are making decisions in the interest of Mr. Lungu. This is why we have been reporting that they are even trying to unleash the military to poor citizens. You make citizens poor, you abuse them, you oppress them. Again, if you want to bring their own relatives to fight them in the streets, already people who are suffering, who are going through a lot. This is how desperate PF is. This is how desperate Mr. Lungu is in these elections. And we are calling upon the UN, all diplomatic missions accredited to Zambia. Don't be too soft. Can you protect lives? These people, they know that they have lost these elections and they are ready to do anything. We don't want the international to start coming when it is too late. What we want is peace before, during, and after these elections. And also what we are demanding as Zambians is a free and fair general election so that Zambians, they express themselves. The PF, they are saying they are very popular. They have worked so hard and they have changed the lives of the people of Zambia. So if Skyler has worked so hard, if I was a president and have changed the lives of the people of Zambia, I should allow people on the 12th of August, before, during, and after, to express themselves, to vote freely. And that's when we can tell that I've worked for the people and people, they still appreciate my service. But not like this. The opposition wants to go and campaign. You are telling the opposition you are just social media campaigners, but they want to go on the grassroots. You are restricting them to go and campaign. Then what type of nonsense is that? What type of nonsense is that? You are telling that, no, you are just on the social media. They want to go and meet their supporters. You are restricting them, and you are proud to say you are a government. You are people who are popular. Popular to who? If not yourselves. Believe you me, we have done and we have been reporting these elections. Winning an election, my dear, is not about on the actual day of voting. You win elections almost a year before, if not 2 years before. That's when you win elections. And PF, we have told them from the word go, because we go by what is trending. Even when they did that opinion poll, personally as a political scientist, you know, that political whatever organization that was formed to start coming up with all sorts of lies. There's I'm very happy there's one commentator, a political analyst, who has written a very well detailed article about what that PF funded political analysis is all about. Now, you see, you don't have to wait for me simply because I do political analysis to tell you that what is going on in Zambia. You just need your common sense to know what is expected of August. I can tell you that if you want to do a clear and honest opinion poll, go into town, go into compounds, where you find 10 people, Come and tell me how men will say life is good for them. Come and tell me how many people are going to say PF has worked so hard, PF has changed our lives. You are going to find that out of 10 people, you will find maybe 8 will open. Those who doesn't fear, they will open and tell you that PF must go. Maybe the 2 will tell you that, no, I can't say anything. Because they are scared, they may think maybe someone wants to hack them. Because they know that this time around, only PF, if you are seen to be anti-PF, you'll be hacked. So I am urging PF not to go and hire an international organization, to go into compounds, ask people, even when you are conducting door-to-door, ask the citizens. When you go to 10 houses, find yourself, do an analysis. How many people are enjoying your leadership? That's a clear and the correct opinion poll that should guide us. You don't have to wait for Sky to come and tell you that the opinion poll, this is how the August elections are going to be. What the citizens of Zambia are going through, that's the correct opinion poll. And we have seen this in the political history of Zambia. You mess up, you are gone. Zambians, you can pull them up to a certain extent, but once you mess up, you are gone. MMD would say, MMD, when it was left under RB, you are actually still doing pretty good. Zambians were able to have 3 decent meals. But they said, no, it's like we see a lot of corruption going on in MMD, and we want them to go. MMD wanted to stay in 2011, but Zambian, they showed MMD the door of exit. Now, tell me, my sister, tell me, convince me today, because we should argue based on the history, based on what the evidence that we have. If MMD, that was, the dollar was somewhere 67, people could have 3 decent meals. They were booted out in 2011. What does Mr. Lungu believes in when the dollar is trending at 24, the US dollar? When today a 1,000, you can't buy food that you can eat for 2 days in Zambia. What is Mr. Lungu believing in? What assurance? Who is analyzing these elections for him? What type of political advisor is Zimba to the president? These are clear issues. This is how we analyze what is going to happen on 12 August. And this is the information that even the intelligence unit, they have told him. They have told the PF that this is what is obtaining. But they don't want to listen. They want to use arrogance. They want to stay.
And I can just comment on that, Mr. Skyile. So I can just say that they know they are losing. That's why they are using all these government agencies in their favor, like ECZ. They are doing so much, changing everything. Like ECZ has become like a parliament. They wake up every morning, they announce something new. So that PF is trying by all means to manipulate this election using independent. These organs, they are supposed to be independent, but now they are not, because they are under pressure from PF. They have been bought. But what I can tell you, these officers, to say, you are sworn to serve the Zambian people. The day of reckoning is coming. You and PF are going to go down together, because Zambian people, we are all ready for change. Exactly. That's all I wanted to say.
No, these are the clear issues. This is why when you go, I want to appreciate juniors. I want to appreciate the rest of the Zambian army officers. We know. I want to appreciate the rest of the officers from Zambia Air Force. I want to appreciate the police, the rest of the police. Forget about those individuals, the Tanganja, and the few individuals who are swimming in corrupt money, where they have even hidden murderers who have killed the citizens. Forget about those. Our interest, our pew goes to the rest, the majority in this security wings. This is the time when we are going to see heroes in the security wing. Heroes are born when there is a difficult moment, when the country is going through a crisis, when a community is going through a crisis, that's when heroes are born. And we are going to see heroes going into these elections. We are going to see true patriots of Mother Zambia before, during, and after these elections. Those who are going to say Zambia should be protected. Zambia needs sanity. And we know that they are the majority. And we want to urge them that remain strong. Remain strong. Don't be intimidated. Those they have got contracts. That's why they are scared. But even when you have a contract, if you do the right thing for the country, even when there is a change of government, people should be able to recommend you. People should be able to respect you. People will stand with you. But if you choose to side with the criminals, to side with the oppressors, you go down with those oppressors. Because at the end of the day, you can count them. They are not even 1,000. But we are talking about millions of Zambians who are saying we are tired of this political violence. And we know where this political violence is coming from. We have seen opposition members, even when just an opposition member is found removing a poster for PF and running from PF, because they are also running from PF. They have learned it from PF. Every time when they go to complain to police, the police even end up arresting them. So they are saying, no, we are going to also to do the same. We have seen opposition members being arrested right away, being sentenced. But PF members today can move with guns because they are cadres. They can move with guns. They can go around and terrorize citizens. They can go around and rip off campaigning materials for the opposition. And you call that a credible election. Now, this is my message to the people of Zambia, especially the young people. Just after voting, go to Murungushi. Wait until the results, clear, tangible, credible results are declared. This time around, no one is going to go home. No one should go home. Leave Murungushi so that criminals, they can get there and start manipulating the results. We are going to wait for Esa Ochuru. We are going to wait for Shindano and the entire ECZ to announce credible results. No amount of guns. We know they procured a lot of guns. No amount of intimidations will be accepted. This election is for the young people because PF has already screwed our lives. If you are to ask me today, how do you see your future? I don't see anything. Because even if when I want to work for myself, the cost of doing business is quite high. They give you those few coins that they are giving to manipulate, like the way they are manipulating musicians. There is high inflation. What can you do in such an environment? We do not need handouts as young people in this country. We are not going to build Zambia through handouts. We need the proper empowerments. Empowerments that will have a passive kind of development where other young people will come and benefit. There is a lot of things that can be done to change the lives of young people. Even these young people that they put in station, these cadres, we can always find something for them to do if we're a serious country, if we have a serious leadership. Because one thing that we should know is that we don't expect everyone to be educated, but we can give them skills. We can give them skills. We can take them into farming. They can be very productive for the country. They can be earning a living and they can stop being violent. PF has employed to be killing their fellow citizens because PF has got no plan to improve their lives. But we need a government that is going to give them skills so that they can be responsible and help citizens. Not a PF that hires young people, gives them guns, buys them beer to go and terrorize their fellow citizens. Thank you.
Yes, so I just wanted to comment something real quick. Guys, if you are just joining us, we are here with Mrs. Sikaile, and there's a comment that Geoffrey Mulenga just made a comment. If you want us to say anything, just type your whatever comment there and I'll read it to Mr. Skaile. So there's a comment from Geoffrey Mulenga that I'm going to read to you, sir. You can comment on that.
All right.
But before we go to that comment, I just want to talk about ECZ, appeal to Zambians, what is going to happen on voting day. So this voting day, people, we are all election observers, all of us. The
Exactly.
6 million Zambians are all election observers. Why do I say this? Because ECZ have made it impossible for organizations to be accredited to observe the election. So they don't want anyone to be there. But me, I'm saying power to the people. One, all of us, we are election observers. So that being said, what are we going to do? We are all going to camp at polling station, move in groups. We are going to have breakfast, lunch, dinner at a polling station, all of us. We are going to be there. Their plan is to stuff the ballot boxes with pre-printed ballot papers and then stamp. So we are going to watch them, all of us. The whole village polling station, there's 85 people, we are camping there. And when they close the polling, we are escorting those ballot boxes to the totaling center, all of us. Exactly. If you have a vehicle, you drive. If you have a bicycle, you follow. If you are walking, we are escorting them back. We are not giving you a chance. And then before they leave the polling stations, we take pictures of the results. ECZ is just going to announce what we are going to add. We, the voters, are going to do the totals. If you are in Kanini ward in Indola, that's my voting ward. If you are in Kanini ward, by 18 hours, 19 hours, we should all know who the president is, our MP is, our councillor is. So whatever result is being announced by ECZ must match the results which is at Kanini ward in Indola. And all of us must have evidence, phone capture. It doesn't matter. People are saying they'll shut down the internet. Yes, if they shut down the internet, your phone can still work without internet. Take pictures, and then when the internet is turned on, we transmit those results to each other. So we are not waiting for Shindano or whoever to announce fake results. This year, we are all observers. This year, we are capturing results ourselves. And we have to make sure that whatever ESAU announces must match what I am collecting there at Kanini ward in Indola. So there's a comment here from Geoffrey who says, to you, Mr. Skaile, stop hiding in the so-called good governance activists for Zambia and Amnesty International. Come out in the open as UPND card and campaign for your tribe, for your tribesmen. That's Mr. Geoffrey. He's addressing you. So what is your comment?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. First and foremost, I think I'm above that ridiculous kind of thinking. But what I can just tell Mr. Geoffrey Mulenga is that I respect your opinion. Personally, one thing that you should understand is that I'm a Zambian, and it's within the constitution of Zambia that I should be able to express myself, irrespective of whatever you can align me to. And let me just educate you, Mr. Geoffrey Mulenga. A human rights activist is a partner. For your own information, is a partner. And even if, what do I mean, human rights is a partner? Our objective is to protect human rights. And we understand that we can't just advocate. We also need other people to come together. When we come together with other people, we achieve one goal, and that's to make sure that there is respect for human rights. Now, Mr. Geoffrey, personally, as an activist for human rights, I look around which other institution, which other organization serves the interest of my stance. on national issues. And if today I find President Harikaraba is talking about the violence in Zambia, I agree with him, because he is there advocating for something which is right. If today I find the UPPZ, Mr. Chanda, President Chanda, is advocating that we don't need political violence in Zambia, he is my partner. We are going to work together, and there's no crime about that. If the UPND, they are standing to say we are going to end political violence, we are going to fight the corruption which has brought poverty, we are going to make sure that there's rule of law, I don't see them as criminals like I see PF. And mind you, I've seen some of you PF cadres telling me, no, you as an activist, you must be neutral. You can never be neutral with the criminality. You can't be neutral with the injustice. Injustice is like you choose to belong to the devil or to belong to Jesus Christ. You can't say, me, I'm halfway devil, I'm halfway Jesus Christ, I'm halfway God. No. You must belong to one chance, Mr. Geoffrey Murenga. You have to belong to one side. There's no way today I can. PF moves with the guns. PF and you want me to say no PF, and I must state and I must speak the truth. And I know PF, you are getting this truth, your leaders are getting this truth. So you telling me to come out openly, I've come out openly. This is why I'm speaking. This is why I'm taking critical actions every day. I've reached even an extent whereby go and ask President Edgar Lungu himself on several occasions. I've challenged him. I've challenged the ECZ. If they were smart, if they knew that what I'm talking about is not true, your leaders, they would have reacted. They have all institutions. They have all the money. They have all the money to do anything with me that they feel like doing. But you should ask yourselves why they have not touched me up to now. They have attempted. They have made several attempts, but I'm ahead of them because I see nothing but the truth. And shame to you, my brother Geoffrey Murenga, because you are a betrayer of your own children. Because this violence that you see today, we saw the poor little young boy, Frankie Mugabe. He was on his way from school, he was shot by the police. We saw Kennedy Mudenda, another school pupil. He was killed by the police. Don't you think one day it can be one of your children on their way, maybe from the market or from school, you can find themselves in this fracas that is being sponsored by Mr. Lungu? You should be thinking. Don't think using your berries because they are giving you handouts and you don't want to think about the future. What we need, we do not need anything. If I was a person who doesn't have a passion for this country, Zambia, today I would have been one of those mankoles around who would have been busy eating with the PF government.
And thank you,
have made several attempts to say, we'll give you this and this, but I don't believe in that. I don't need the corrupt, I don't need the bribe money. And this is where we draw the lines from with PF. So, Mr. Geoffrey, that's how we operate. When we find people who are standing on the truth to say this is what should be done for our country, we are going to respect this, we partner with them, we work with them. Even you, the day when you come to your senses to say, now Zambia needs change, PF are criminals, I'm going to come, we are going to work together. There's no problem. Thank you.
And I read that question because certain people, they are uncomfortable about Tonga people speaking up for the Zambians. When it's a Tonga person who's talking, they say we are tribal, and that's why I brought it up. We are here for all the Zambians, and what they say by open is they want you to be in the field so they can come and attack you. You are the most open Zambian that I know. You are on social media and all your materials are well circulated everywhere globally. What does it mean in the open? In the open, he wants to come to your house and come and attack you. That's what he means. But we are saying time have changed. Our social media presence is what we are using. We are using a modern technology to communicate, and we are reaching everyone everywhere.
we have been abused, my dear. We have gone through a lot because PF is a bunch of criminals. And we talk, I say that because I know I have the evidence. If I was to be sued and ask, why do you call PF a bunch of criminals? I will have to produce the evidence, and I can do that. Anyway, I can do that. By the way, personally, when I make comments, this is why it has been so difficult for PF to do whatever they think of doing. You have seen how they have been hounding other people around. We have seen the opposition, like the opposition, Mr. Aka in the ECZ, being arrested several times. Even Mr. Kamwe, before he had to turn himself into a bootlicker when he was speaking on behalf of the people of Zambia. You saw how they followed him up. And but now the thing is that we are ahead this time around. Believe you me, we are ahead. This is why whatever is happening, even just after this conversation, I'm going to have all the information, whatever they are sitting, where they are sitting from. And this is what is bothering them so much. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of them say no. The other one actually the other day was telling me that we went to meet at the funeral for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. You meet at the funeral, then you kill me. I'm not that stupid. And what we are here, we want the country to be in the right direction.
They want to shut us down. Anyone who's talking the truth, they were shutting them down.
We speak not for any tribe. Some of us in our families, we have got children, we have got wives from all corners of Zambia. This is why I always desist talking about tribal issues. Because if people, they see me here on this platform talking about tribal issues, then I've insulted myself. Because we are married to Bembas, we are married to Tongas, we are married to Iras, we are married to Easterners, Tumbukas. So this issue of tribalism is a food for idiots, my dear. If you are not an idiot in Zambia, you cannot rise and start talking about that tribe. We need the people to unite. We need to come together. We are one Zambia, we are one people. And this country, all of us, not a bunch of thieves who regroup and they want to use tribalism to separate so that they continue stealing. They divide.
Meanwhile, their wives are Tongas.
They are busy. They are busy stealing.
Their wives are Tongas.
That's why I'm telling you that this is anyone who comes to talk about tribalism is an idiot.
Is a cheap
very
politics.
Open to that, and they have no apology about that. Any sane Zambian today cannot start talking about the tribe or say no, that tribe or this tribe. We are one people, and we mingle. Even when you go to churches, you find that there are different tribes. When we go to these functions, anything that we do in our community, it's about all tribes in Zambia. Why, when it comes to politics, other tribes should be treated as aliens? For what?
It's a cheap politics. Yeah.
So we are here to defend the interests of our country. At the end of the day, we want to be proud people that even when we die, our children, future generations, they should be able to quote to say, on this day, these people, they talked about this. At least they built a good and better Zambia for us. We shouldn't be a country whereby when we make a budget, out of 100% of our budget, 90% we have to go around to be begging money. What type of human beings are we? When God has given Zambia all the much needed resources that we need, why should we be beggars with a lot of loans that we can't even manage like what PF have done? Today, PF have tied our country to China. We are a tail of China because we can't say anything against China because PF have borrowed. And actually, after borrowing, they have stolen that money. It's not even to help the interests of the people of Zambia. PF are criminal and shameless, disgusting human beings who went to steal money for people with disability.
COVID.
And someone wakes up every day, President Lungu, he's busy posting Bible verses about love. I've never seen someone who loves people who can go and steal from someone who doesn't have eyes, who doesn't walk, who uses a wheelchair. You go and steal from that person and you call yourself a humble person. What is humbleness about being a thief? There is no humbleness. What is humbleness about being violent? There is no humbleness. We are here to speak, even for these people, we are speaking here, including President Lungu. We are speaking on his behalf because one day, this constitution of Zambia that he has abrogated, You will need it. You will need to
protect him. Yes.
I need a police bond. I need a bail.
Yes, he will need it.
You will need this constitution day. He's raping, abusing, he's sitting, he's turning into all kinds of things. You need it, including these thugs around, including Mr. Geoffrey Mulenga. You are going to request this same constitution officer, say, no, can you take me to court?
Yes, for 48 hours.
Yes. So
no
we are
arbitrary arrest.
on their behalf because they are blinded. They can't see. This is why they are driving the country in a crazy direction. There is no leadership. So we are trying to show them that this is the right way to go. There is nothing about, no, we are speaking for this tribe. We are speaking for all sane Zambians who are suffering today. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, we are going to round up in the next 5 minutes, but before we round up, I just want to say, me personally, I am a Lozi woman on the father's side. My mother is Tonga. My children, they are from Northern. My nieces, they are from Eastern. My brother-in-law is from Umbala. My blood runs through the 9 provinces of Zambia. So when I'm sitting here, I'm representing Zambia. I mean, 10 provinces now, sorry. We are talking for Mother Zambia. And the fact that we are talking doesn't mean that we like to talk. PF have silenced people. Us who are talking, we are risking our lives right now. But you know what? Me, I'm ready to die. If they want, they can come after me. I'm ready to die to save Zambia. So we are saying to PF, enough is enough. Just go, leave Zambia the way you find it. Don't leave Zambia in pieces. We see what is happening around us in South Africa. Why? Because these leaders, they are inciting people to kill themselves. But these leaders, they are safe. Look at the bloodshed in the streets of South Africa. Innocent people are dying for what they don't know. But these leaders who are inciting the violence or whatever, they are safe. We don't want that in Zambia. We have a constitution. Let's respect it. And I think in the next 5 minutes, you can just wind down so that...
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, today in the morning, we have... I've also taken another step regarding Mr. Chimbakambwe issue. I've copied that letter which I wrote to the British High Commissioner to Zambia, requesting the British government restrict Mr. Chimbakambwe going that side, together with his family. I'm busy copying it. Copied it to the Catholic Church. They have received. I've copied it to Amnesty International. I've also copied it to the United Secretary General. I've also copied it to other key stakeholders. Now, to all British, I'm copying to different British embassies across the world. That's how we are operating, Mr. Geoffrey Mulenga. We are not here to joke, and even your readers, they know very well what we mean. We are working 24/7 because we want a better Zambia. My appeal goes to the young people. These are our elections. These are not the elections for the opposition. These are elections for us to liberate ourselves. And the time for us to liberate our country has come. Let us not be intimidated. I'm even calling my brothers from different brothers and sisters from different political parties, including the PF. There are some young people there that I trust who means well to this country. Come out openly. Or on that day, vote wisely and let us defend this country, because I always say that in a few years, these people who are messing up our country, in 1 or 2 years, some of them will be no more. But what about these wrongs that they have accumulated on behalf of our country? It is you and myself who are going to be suffering, who are going to pay. No country is going to say, no, because your former president died, so we are going to forgive you. We are going to be paid. It is us. This is why we have to be honest to ourselves. We need to deal with the issue that is concerned with our governance situation in Zambia. And we are saying there is no leadership. We need leadership. leadership that is going to install sanity, leadership that is going to respect the rule of law, so that there is accountability on the usage of public resources, so that we can see how we can pay back this money we have, the PF government have accumulated on behalf of the citizen. So I'm also going to the security service chiefs. I'm appealing to you, most of you, you are grandparents. Think about this country. You still have an opportunity to do the right thing. Think about this country. Whatever you are planning in the dark corners, we are watching and we know. But what we are just requesting you, think about the country. Put the interests of the country first. Because you can get those monies that they want to bribe you with, even those positions. But God is watching. If there's bloodshed in the streets, simply because you failed to do the right thing, are you going to be proud of that job? Are you going to be proud of those monies that they are going to give you? So can you think and do the right thing? We are watching. There's nothing that we don't know. This Dr. Chireshe is going prison to prison, campaigning openly that you vote for Mr. Rungu. That's unacceptable. Simply because people are prisoners, they give them their dignity. Do the right thing that is going to help them. This time around, our objective should have been improving the livelihood of prisoners inside there, making sure that we change the way they are living. We improve what they are feeding on. And rushing to say, you go and vote. After voting, what happened when there's a government with poor policy? What happened to their future? There is nothing. They are going to continue suffering. And they are being promised that when you go out, we are going to give you a piece of land. Honestly speaking, even any normal prisoner, are you sure you people, all of you, are going to be pardoned after 12 August, provided Mr. Rungu comes out? So these are tricks. I'm pretty sure that there are people in prisons who are going to vote wisely. Who are going to vote wisely. And I still appeal especially to the Catholic Church. In conclusion, the Catholic Church has been there for our country in difficult times. It's one of the churches that I respect so much when it comes to defend humanity, when it comes to defend human rights. We ask the Catholic Church to step out and provide leadership. Some of us, we believe and trust that the Catholic can guide, can help in making sure that we have credible elections. We do not trust ECZ. ECZ is a branch of PF, and they don't mean well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. So to close, I just want to say that these loans that they have borrowed, they have given the mines as collateral. So it's not only paying back the money, it's selling the country. This is why we need to vote for change, because if PF comes back into government, they are going to borrow more money and they are going to sell this country because they are giving mines as collateral security. You know what that means. Otherwise, thank you guys. We'll be here almost every day to share information and breaking news. Just keep you informed, because it's very important that you are aware of things that are going on, and then take this information and share with friends and your family who cannot come on live. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.